Yo, what is up? It's CJ Lawler, aka Dick Too Big. JCW's Chicken Boy Luke. You know what I'm saying? You're sitting here watching, drinking at Moe's, motherfucker.
Hey, this is Big Mo here. Welcome to Drinkin at Moe's. If you're listening on YouTube, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, because I got plenty of content coming. I will be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, so keep an eye out. Anyways, today I got with me CJ Lawler. How the hell you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me, dog. I really do, man. This is my second podcast I've ever done, so it's a big deal to me, you know.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm honored to have you. First question I usually like to ask is, what got you started as a fan, and then what got you started, getting your jump into the wrestling business?
Man, I'm from I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee now, but when I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, on the outskirts in a town called Elgin, Illinois. And this is probably about 2002, 2003. I was about 6 years old, and I was channel flipping, and I came across Spike TV, and it was Monday Night Raw.
Oh.
And it was Kane choke slamming the Hurricane, and I just thought that was the coolest shit ever. Excuse me, I don't know, can I cuss on here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're good.
All right, yeah, I thought it was the coolest fucking shit I ever saw. Because I like the when you're 6 years old, you have, the monster Kane, and then you got, the Hurricane, a superhero, and to me, that was the coolest thing ever. And so, like, I've been a lifelong fan ever since. When I was a kid, my dad used to take me to, like, Allstate Arena to watch Raw, and, we'd go to Rockford, Illinois, and we'd go to the house shows, because they usually did the house shows in Rockford. They do the Raws and SmackDowns at Allstate, the old Rosemont Horizon.
Yeah.
And, I been watching it ever since, and then when I was probably about 11 is when I discovered, like, deathmatch wrestling on Insane Clown Posse Stranglemania tape.
Oh, yeah.
I lied to my mom and told her it was just a regular wrestling tape and begged her to order it for me, and so, I mean, I see it was Terry Funk versus drunk Terry Funk versus Cactus Sack in the main event from I think it's like King of the Death Matches '95.
Oh, yeah.
The no rope exploding barbed wire, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was the coolest shit I ever saw.
Yeah, that was an insane one to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a hell of a tournament too. If you watch the whole thing, I actually somebody gave me a bootleg DVD of it a few years ago, probably about 6-7 years ago, and I finally got to watch the whole deal, But then back in for actually getting in the business, I grew up with a kid, and we both we would like trade wrestling DVDs and shit,
Yeah.
I met him in the 6th grade, and he was my best friend throughout the 6th grade, through high school, through adulthood. And one day I was drinking and I was like, man, I want to be a brother, I want to be a worker, I want to be a wrestler. And he's like, yeah, man, just come on down and train with us, And at the time I had put a miter saw through my thumb. And luckily it didn't go all the way through, but I had this huge cast on my hand. I was off work. I was sitting on, like, workman's comp, because I work in, I have a shoot job. I work in construction, and so anyways, I had this huge cast on my hand, and there was 4 of us that started training in this, like, little fucking town called Pikeville, Tennessee. And in Pikeville, it was, as Cornette would call it, it was an outlaw mud show. You know what I'm saying? But they gave him a start, and so there was 4 of us. And when I walked out in the middle of the ring, and dude goes, "All right, bump," and I didn't know shit about fuck. So I'm bumping my ass off, and I'm just banging my head on the mat. I got crazy whiplash, and that was 2000. That was August 13th, 2018, I believe.
Oh,
I believe that was the date. I know it was 2018, but because I had seen just not to be all long-winded, but I had watched Nick Gage wrestle Kerry Awful the day before at the Scenic City Invitational, and the next day I had to be in training.
Yeah, nice. What what actually got you into, like, I know you said you got the tape that had the Terry Funk death match on it. Was that what you would say inspired you to get into deathmatch wrestling? Because I've thought, people that get into deathmatch wrestling, that's a whole different animal.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, before that, I'd seen like, the Fed hardcore matches, like the one I loved the most, that was like my favorite match up until I saw Cactus Jack and Funk, was Orton and Cactus Jack at Backlash 04.
Oh, okay.
And I thought it was just the weapons, the whole pageantry of it, when they do the spot on the thumbtacks and Randy's got thumbtacks in his hand, I thought it was the coolest shit ever at 8 years old.
Yeah.
So seeing stuff like that really made me want to get into deathmatch wrestling. And then, Danny Havoc was my first like favorite modern deathmatch wrestler. This is like 2008, because CZW stuff would get uploaded on YouTube, and I would watch, Nick Gage in the Hate Club, and like shit from like 2004, all the old stuff that people would just burn to YouTube. And that's like kind of what made me want to really get into it. And then I met Mad Man Pondo at 13. And I met Pondo when I was 13, and I was like, I gotta do this, when I become old enough. I didn't know that you could start training at 13 in Tennessee because we don't have an athletic commission. If I'd have known that, I'd have been doing this 10 years ago,
Yeah, no, like I said, I gotta admire anybody that gets into deathmatch wrestling, because good Lord, you think even just regular pro wrestling can put a taxing amount of stuff on your body, but then you add, the whole deathmatch style to it. You got the barbed wire, the light tubes, the thumbtacks, all that shit just adds to it.
See, like, I'm not like, I wouldn't fully consider myself a deathmatch wrestler yet. I'm working on it, because I've only gotten to do a few deathmatch type matches. I did a deathmatch in January, but it's like, what I've been doing is I've been, going around and like helping out at promotions and shit to try and get that foot in the door, which is like, piece of advice to anybody that does want to get into it, learn how to wrestle first and then, jump into it. Because I'm still working on jumping into it fully, because this is what I want to do every Saturday, every Friday. I don't want to wrestle traditionally. I don't hate traditional wrestling, but it just doesn't it doesn't get me off like deathmatch wrestling does. So I don't want to sit here and act like I'm fully a deathmatch guy yet, because I'm working on it. I'm trying to get there.
I can understand that. One kind of misconception I found with deathmatch wrestlers is people think of that in the same light as, you see all those YouTube backyard wrestling things, and they think it's like that sort of stuff, when, when you do it right, it can be one hell of a show.
It is. I mean, I was talking to Joel Bateman from Australia. We were at ICW No Holds Barred. I think it was 23 or 22 when they came because Danny D'Amano's been coming to Chattanooga every few months, and at the place I typically wrestle at, TWE Chattanooga, and we've been hosting their shows here and there, and I was talking to Joel about this is probably back in March, and I was like, hey, what advice would you give to people trying to get into deathmatch wrestling? And like he told me, he said, become an excellent wrestler first, because deathmatch wrestling isn't just about hitting another guy in the head with a tube or a gusset plate or whatever the hell. It's there's actually shit to it. It's a pro wrestling match with weapons around it. It's not this people shit on it, and it pisses me off, because I think it's much more intricate than a regular wrestling match. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, definitely, because like I've heard Nick Gage talk about it in that same manner, that when you do it right, you have good pro wrestling, but you have all the weapons and stuff around it that just add that little bit to it. And it's not just, okay, throw these guys in there, have these weapons, and, no wrestling at all. Just bam, bam, bleh.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes into it, man. Like there's so much thought that goes into it. I mean, you look at guys like Danny Havoc, perfect example. Hell of a wrestler, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can look it up on YouTube, and he has regular matches, and they're incredible. And then you look at how he would design his matches, and he would draw them on a piece of paper and draw everything where he wanted everything, and he would have his whole match mapped out in a drawing. Danny Havoc. I mean, Danny Havoc is one of my all-time favorite pro wrestlers in the history of wrestling. He was, when he passed, I cried like a like a like a bitch.
Yeah.
Because I love the shit out of him. He was my first modern day favorite deathmatch wrestler, at 11, 12 years old,
Oh,
just
yeah,
love the shit out of him.
He was definitely a legend of it. And definitely when you think of, people talk about Mount Rushmores of wrestling, when, you talk about deathmatch wrestling in particular, he's definitely on there.
He is, man, and for me, another guy on there too for me is Mad Man Pondo. He is, I've been fortunate enough to have gotten to wrestle him, and he was my first person I ever got to work, and we did hardcore deathmatch-esque shit, and that guy is just incredible to me. He's the one that got me booked at Juggalo Championship Wrestling. I mean, he's always trying to help me get to new places, and he's a phenomenal guy. He is really one, in my opinion, the greatest deathmatch wrestler of all time. He is hands down.
Yep. Nope. He is definitely one of the biggest names in that game for sure. You brought up Juggalo Championship Wrestling. What's that been like? Because I've heard some crazy stories.
It's fun, man. It's my favorite promotion to wrestle at. I've gotten to be there twice, and I've also I've done ring crew for him too, just to try and break in and get in with him, and luckily it worked, so it's always incredible. I wrestled there in Milwaukee a few weeks ago for Violent J's birthday party show, and it was the hottest crowd I ever worked, and it was hilarious because I was playing the heel. I was being a heel, and I had juggalos trying to grab me up, and because I do a gimmick there called Chicken Boy Luke, where it's just cartoony redneck. I mean, it's what juggalos despise. Because Insane Clown Posse has made rednecks to be these cartoon characters, and so yeah, it's fun, man. We were at the Gathering last year, and we were doing BloodyMania, and they had this Legends of BloodyMania Battle Royal, and this guy, they were supposed to have Tarek the Doink. He's one of the guys that did the Doink deal in the Indies in the 90s, and he was supposed to be there, but he no-showed. So this fan came in dressed like Doink. Nobody batted an eye. They thought it was Tarek.
Oh.
Everybody did, and so he gets in the ring, and he's punching dudes and beating the shit out of people. And this naked girl gets in the ring and starts beating the shit out of everybody. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in pro wrestling. And nobody could do anything to stop her because she was a big woman, and she beat the shit out of 3 dudes in there before they finally got her out. So working for the clowns is it's my favorite. I look forward to it every time,
Yeah, no, and I mean, for people that watch the YouTube version of this, I mean, you're wearing the product right there.
Yeah. I mean, that was my biggest goal in, my teenage years, because, I've been an Insane Clown Posse fan, a Juggalo, since I was, maybe 7, 8 years old, because I first saw them on a WCW tape, Fall Brawl 99.
Yeah.
And I was just in love ever since. And my cousin listened to them, so I was, 7, 8 years old, taking in all that,
No, I got you there. I do remember that time frame they were in WCW. That was probably, I forget if they were there first or if they had that little time with the WWE first, but I do remember all the things they did with like, what was it? Vampiro?
Yeah, they had Vampiro and Muta and, Muta. I think Raven was in the Deadpool for a little bit.
I'm wanting to say so, yeah.
Yeah, they, and I think the Demon was in it too, the Kiss Demon.
He might,
I think
I'm wanting to say he might have been. I can't really remember right now.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I love pro wrestling, but I honestly, WCW is, I mean, when you live up north, WWF is, the shit. WCW wasn't,
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, even as far up as Nebraska, I mean, that was the same here.
Yeah, I mean, it's New York's territory for sure.
True. One thing going back to the whole deathmatch stuff, there's been a lot of, talk with deathmatch tournaments. I know GCW actually has 2 with the Nick Gage Invitational, and they are doing the Tournament of Survival again.
Yeah, that's this weekend, isn't it?
I'm forgetting if it was this weekend or the next one. I know it's coming up.
Yeah, tournament. Yeah, it's like it's coming up soon.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty soon. I know you said you're not considering yourself like fully deathmatch guys, but has there been any thoughts about getting into any of those?
Yeah, I mean, I would totally do it. I mean, I'm just I'm still like this is probably going to be a lot of like super underwhelming for a lot of people because I probably shouldn't be as honest about things, but like I'm still like trying to break in because it's not easy to break into deathmatch at all, because it's like it's so aggravating because it's such a fad right now. Everybody wants to do just that one deathmatch. Yeah. And it's like so aggravating because it's like, cool, you're going to do one death match, but you're really just taking up a spot for somebody else on the card that really wants to do it. Not just saying me, I'm saying like a bunch of other people. But, I would love to do a tournament, I mean, that's, I think Akira, I believe he had like maybe like 2 death matches and he did a tournament, when he was, when he still had like long hair, like 3 years ago, and, which is insane to me to think that you do like 2 death matches and you go do like, you do 3 in the same night. Like that's insane. Yeah. But yeah, no, I would love to. I don't know. I'm getting off topic, but I'm ADHD as shit. But yeah, no, I'd love to, man. Like I'm still just trying to break in. I still go around with ICW No Holds Barred, and I go around with them and like help them, make weapons, set the ring up, tear the ring down, do all that shit because it's something that I think a lot of talents, my age and newer talents, they think like, oh, why would you drive 12 hours just to set up a ring and tear down a ring? It's because you fucking want to do it, Yeah,
no, that's often the way you kind of get your foot in the door is by driving who knows how long and, helping set up, helping tear down.
Yeah, make airport runs, like I had to pick up Schlack one time in the Kirks, and like I gladly did it because it's like, okay, because I live 2 hours away from Atlanta, 2 hours from Nashville, 2 hours from Knoxville, 2 hours from Huntsville, Alabama. So for me, doing airport runs is the coolest shit ever because I'm sitting in the car for 2 hours with these guys that I watch. I watch their products, their matches, and all that shit. So to spend 2 hours in the car getting to talk to them about wrestling is like the coolest shit ever.
No,
so like my advice is always pick those guys up. Always make the airport run if you can.
Yeah, no. Speaking of the guy you just brought up, what is he like? Because I mean, I've seen some of his stuff. I like recently with. I still haven't watched the whole show because it was so fucking long. But King of the Deathmatch show, God, that damn thing was long. But
it was like 7 hours.
Yeah, it was like I remember only reason I got it was because I had some Fight TV credits and ended up being able to spend it just on that and I think one other show. And I'm like, well, shit, if I'm not paying anything extra, why the hell not?
Yeah, I mean, shit. XPW's back. It's insane, but
yeah.
No, like Schlack is really cool, man. It was really interesting to me because like people may call me a mark or whatever, but I'm a fan of this shit too. Like I hate the term mark, but I fucking do because like I'm still a fan of Insane Clown Posse, of pro wrestling. I'm a fan of things, I'm a human being. But Schlack was really cool, man, because like they always tell you like don't meet your heroes and shit, which like some of them suck, but like for the most part, everybody I've met has been like super cool and like. It was funny because the Mittens from ICW, his flight to Chattanooga had gotten canceled. So in the Kirks, Brandon Kirk and Casey Kirk, they were both flying. They were all flying in Atlanta. I was supposed to pick up Schlack and the Kirks, and Mittens ended up showing up. And I had at the time I had a Nissan Sentra, so I had another kid with me from Missouri, Derek James. He was with me. So he was with me, and we had the Kirks, Schlack, and Mittens sitting in the back. So we had 4 people sitting in the back of this little ass car. And Schlack is fucking huge. He's stupid big. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. But like, he was awesome to talk to, man. He's a person that I like. I love sitting and talking with him because he loves pro wrestling. Not just deathmatch wrestling, but I think he told me that who the hell did he say was his favorite wrestler? Bam Bam Bigelow was his favorite wrestler. And, my favorite, like, traditional wrestler is Tracy Smothers. And so we got to talk about, like, just, like, all of, like, how much we all love wrestling. We were all, trading, who's our favorite wrestler and, like, trading stories and just talking about shit like that. And he was, like, really awesome to be around. He's really cool. I hope I'm not, like, making him sound like a teddy bear. Because he is a little intense. Like it was a little intense when I first talked to him. Because I mean, fuck, man, it's Schlack,
Yeah, no, there's a lot of guys out there that it's like, they're one thing behind the camera, and then that camera hits them, the lights on, their music hits, and boom.
I mean. Yeah, like the clowns talked about, Hogan was like fucking, real cool, real quiet. And then when that music hit, he went from like limping around and barely being able to walk to walking out and doing the fucking deal, fucking posing and shit,
Yeah,
no, like it was like I'll tell you a quick little funny story. We were driving through Atlanta, and I have 4 people in my back seat. And Schlack being one of them. And I'm like nervous as fuck because I'm afraid we're gonna get pulled over. And I have to get him to the show because Schlack's flight had ran late. It's like 4:00 in Atlanta. It's a Friday. So traffic's crazy in Atlanta. It's ridiculous in Atlanta. And so anyways, I'm like tripping. I don't even have any music on. It's quiet as fuck in the car. The morale is just down, because I have 4 people. I have 4 wrestlers. Well, 3 wrestlers, and Mittens is just like the god of this shit. He's he's a wrestler too. Fuck it. Yeah. I love him. I love Mittens to death. I don't know if you know who Mittens is, but he's if you watch the GCW pay-per-view, the kid that Matt Cardona spit the beer in his face. Oh, that's Mittens. He's like the fucking best ever. I love him to death. They did a spot with Kimona Wanalega at No Holds Barred 24 or 20. Yeah, 24 in Jersey.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, no, Mittens is the man. So we're driving and all the music is off, and I'm nervous because I'm trying to get everybody to the show, and I'm trying not to get pulled over because it's a 2.5-hour drive to Chattanooga, and the show starts at like 7. It's like 4:30. I'm tripping. And so there's no music on in the car, and Schlack goes, "Hey, what the fuck is this shit? No fucking music?" He's like, "Turn some shit on. What the fuck are we doing?" And I was like, "Ugh." So I put on The Chronic by Dr. Dre. And like I could tell that like nobody wanted to hear that shit. And I was like, so like when he said that to me, I got like shook. I was like, I was like kind of freaked out. And so I put The Chronic on, and nobody was feeling that shit. So I was like, oh, fuck it, Slipknot. Like, I don't even like Slipknot, but you know, it was a lot better than the Chronic, you know.
That's pretty funny. You've had some talk with current wrestling stuff. What is your thoughts on like the current state of wrestling? Is there so many choices out there?
I think it's the best that it's ever been, man. Like, we're in such a good boom, and it's insane to be in it and to be a fan, to just be in pro wrestling. It's like the craziest time, and it's the scariest time too, because like you know, before, like it felt like the boom really hit in the last like 2 years.
Yeah,
you know, because like I used to get bookings all the time and shit in the South, and now it's kind of harder to get bookings because there's so many wrestlers, there's so many shows. It's like I went from wrestling every weekend to now I wrestle like a few times a month, maybe 3 times a month instead of like 4 or 5 times, 6 times a month. You know, I think it's awesome though, because there's so much to watch. There's something for everybody. Like you know, if you like comedy wrestling, there's comedy shows. If you like deathmatch, there's so many deathmatch wrestling promotions right now. I mean, you know, we have TPW in Tennessee, which is, you know, it's an all right show, and it's a great show, really. Besides the Josh Crane incident that just happened, that was fucking ridiculous. I don't know if you've seen that.
Don't think I did.
Oh, he fucking beat the shit out of a guy and like fucking cut his back up, and it was fucking ridiculous. Called him untrained and shit, and it's like he carved the dude up real bad.
Oh damn.
You know, TPW is a good show, and it sucks that happened at TPW, because like I want to see like a Tennessee deathmatch show not get shit on. You know what I'm saying?
No, but that in general for any deathmatch show, you don't want to have it get shit on like that. You know, you want it to.
No, I want it to prosper, you know, and it sucks because it's kind of like a blight. People are kind of shitting on TPW, and it's like just it's a bad incident. It's not their fault that happened, you know. You know, but yeah, like it sucks because like for Tennessee Deathmatch Wrestling, like it's a kind of like a black eye on it, which sucks that because the Twitter just tore it apart, and it sucks. But anyways, yeah, there's just so much shit for you to watch. I think it's great. At times it does kind of suck because sometimes it does feel oversaturated.
Yeah.
But it's a great time, really, just for fans and wrestlers too, because there's so much stuff going on overseas, and I have some of my friends that are going overseas. You know, they're going to do shit in Germany and London, and there's just so much going on, you know, and it's a good time. I mean, Paul London just shit on wrestling like the other day and was like on Rene Dupree's podcast and was like, what did he say? He was like, it's like oversaturated. You click on anybody's profile on Twitter, they're a pro wrestler. And he goes, it's fucking ridiculous. But it's like, well, this is the times, man. It's, you know, it's thriving right now.
I heard he kind of went off on, Bully Ray or Bubba Ray Dudley. I heard he went off on him pretty good.
Yeah, he went in on Dudley. It was pretty. It was wild. You know, I've never met Bubba Ray, so I don't have an opinion on him. You know.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's an asshole or not.
Yeah, you know, I can't say I've ever met him. I mean, hopefully one day, but yeah, no, I heard a little bit about that. I'm like, dude, damn, he really went off. You brought up that one guy that carved the other guy up pretty good. And people,
Josh Crane, yeah.
The
asshole.
Other one that I was going to bring up that people are kind of shitting on right now, it just happened, you know, me being a GCW fan, Joey Janela's little spot there this last weekend.
I loved it.
Oh, I'm not saying one way or another, but I'll admit there was that part of me when I saw the video of it, and I'm like, what the fuck was he thinking?
Well, see, like, you know, in Southern wrestling, I see like, cause like it's you know, I think for a lot of fans, they're like, oh, this is fucking stupid when they're in the Northeast or the West Coast or the Midwest or wherever. But like in the South, the flaming elbow pad spot at a lot of these shit shows, which I hate to use the word shit show. Like, I feel like an asshole saying it. I got my start at a show that wasn't like the best, you know?
Yeah.
But these like these kind of bad shows where a lot of people are untrained, the flaming elbow pad spot is alive and well. You know what I'm saying? So like I've seen that spot so many times. So when I saw Joey Janela doing it, I was like, that's kind of fucking cool. Like, cause like, but it sucks that he couldn't get it to extinguish, which kind of sucks, you know. But I'm glad he's okay. I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Because remember, everybody was all mad about the flaming crotch spot at IWA.
Oh yeah.
Dude from POR, what is it? JJ Allen. He lit his crotch on fire with a weed whacker or some shit.
Oh.
I thought it was badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing it, but you know.
Yeah, no, the whole thing with Joey Janela, I just think it came off like they weren't very well prepared for that spot. Like, you would have thought they'd have either like way more water like right there, or like a fire extinguisher or something.
Yeah, they should have had something there for sure, you know. But I'm sure that like Joey being, you know, because Joey's been wrestling for like 15 years or something. I'm sure he thought he could like get it out pretty quick. I don't know, you know. It was I loved it, you know. No, I love those like I love a lot of the things that Twitter hates because like as a wrestler, you're always trying to get the people talking, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if people are like, you know, saying, oh, this is fucking stupid, or oh, that was great, like either way you're getting a reaction out of people. And that's kind of what we all strive for, you know. We all want to get a reaction, you know. We're definitely not sitting here talking about people that didn't get a reaction, you know.
Yeah.
So like I always love a lot of the things that Twitter hates. Sometimes there's things that I see and I'm like, that was the drizzling shit. It's like, fuck that, you know.
Yeah. No, like I said, I'm kind of indifferent on that whole spot. I mean, if it, like you said, with it coming off like the people behind weren't too prepared, but you know, when you explained with Joey Janela probably thinking, you know what, oh, I got it, we can get it out quick.
Yeah.
You know, I can see that.
And usually like they burn out pretty quick. Like every time I've seen a lot of flaming elbow spots in person, you know, and flaming elbow pad. And usually it goes out pretty quick. You know, one time I did see it where it didn't go out. Dude got burnt pretty good.
Yeah, no.
You know?
Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, sometimes it goes out quick and sometimes you definitely need to have a fire extinguisher on standby there at ringside. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, like I said, it's just like it got the people talking, and I'm sure that's what they wanted out of it, you know, because out of that show, that was what I seen the most on Twitter, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, hey, if that was their goal and to get people talking, they sure as hell accomplished it.
Yeah, they sure as shit, you know.
Yep. To kind of round things off, I got two categories, one a speed round and one kind of some random questions. In speed round, I name off some people, maybe a promotion or two, and you give me your quick thoughts on them.
All right.
So first off, speed round, John Wayne Murdoch.
Number one pro wrestler, independent wrestler in the country, in the world right now. Personal opinion.
Nope, hard to argue that one. He is definitely making towns and is pretty busy for himself.
Yeah, I mean, he had the most cagematch.com or .net matches of like last year, I think, maybe. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. You know.
Well, I mean, I know if he wasn't on top of that, he had to be pretty damn close.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Next off, you can't really say self-proclaimed, but he has this in his entrance. The god of this shit, Nick fucking Gage.
He's the reason why I got into pro wrestling. So like on my Mount Rushmore. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Oh yeah, no, he is definitely one of my personal favorites. I mean, people kind of crap on deathmatch wrestling, but I mean, you see him go up against like hell that spot he did on AEW. That
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible match, and I mean, he had his own Dark Side of the Ring episode, and he had a great ending to it where it wasn't like he rotted in prison. He came out and he's living the American dream.
Yeah, it was one of those like you don't see too many of those Dark Side of the Ring episodes where it actually has a happy ending.
Yeah, and he's still out here. Love Nikki. I've only met him a handful of times, but I love the shit out of him.
He is one guy I really want to meet really bad.
I got to watch. I'm so sorry. I know it's speed round, but I got to stand next to him one time and watch New Jack and Mad Man Pondo cut a promo in the ring one time. It was the coolest shit ever.
Ooh, wow.
It was the coolest shit ever.
All right, next off, I got two to round off the speed round. Game Changer Wrestling.
It has to be the third biggest promotion in the country. I mean, they're one of the best out there.
Yeah.
After their pay-per-view, it's hard to say that they're not the number 3 promotion in the country.
I would have to agree. I mean, for a promotion that doesn't have a weekly TV deal on national TV, I mean, when they have a show, when they have their like once, twice a month shows, people are talking that night and for a while after.
Yeah, it's always a hot ticket. Like I don't keep up much with what GCW does, but it's I mean, I can't sit here and be like, oh, they're not, like, because they are. I mean, I think they having a pay-per-view, selling out the Hammerstein as quick as they did was kind of speaks for itself.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Next off, and I bring this promotion up, and we kind of talked about them a little bit, but reason I really bring them up is because I laugh about it, but they blocked me on Twitter and Instagram. XPW.
I don't know. They did an angle that involved rape one time, so I'm not a big fan. Cool matches every now and again, but overall, I don't really give a shit. I mean, I probably shouldn't say that on a podcast, but Rob Black's not gonna fly me out to California, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of a fan of the original product, and then after they started that with that Rebirth show, I remember I watched it because me being a fan, like I said, of the original product, I'm like, oh, I had high hopes, and then I watch it, and I mean, probably at no fault to the guys on the card, but there was parts of that show that I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was never the biggest XPW fan. I tried getting into it. I could never really get into it. I mean, I love Homeless Jimmy and guys like that. I love those dudes. You know what I'm saying? And they did cool shit. But as a fan, especially watching in this day and age, I watched their I don't think it was on their TV show, because if you remember, they had the seasons DVD that came out. There was shit on the show that I was just I was uncomfortable with, the whole rape angle and shit. And it's and then you have Messiah's thumb cut off, and it's I don't fucking,
Yeah, no. When I started hearing about that, I'm like, really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shitting on anybody that chooses to work for Rob, because I mean that's a payday.
Yeah.
Get paid, make money, make towns.
Yeah, no. I remember one of my good friends that wrestles here in the area had tagged them in a tweet and about possibly being on a future show, and I'm like, hey, I put in a good word for you, but they blocked me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't keep up with them. I mean, I know they did the show at Rob Black's burger joint or something, which is cool. Whatever. I'm just you do a rape angle, and I kind of can't really watch your promotion, you know?
Yeah, I kind of put that one to the back of my mind and didn't really remember it. But now that you bring it up, I'm like, oh, damn, yeah, I remember that one now.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable watching it too. It's insane. It's no, thank you. You know.
All right, moving on to that, to maybe a little bit of a lighter note in my random questions round. First question: craziest thing you've ever done in a match?
Oh man, I've accidentally knocked over. I accidentally like bumped into a kid, like a kid in a stroller one time. That wasn't planned. It was an accident.
Yeah.
I mean, I let a guy like literally just like punch a gusset plate into my forehead one time. That's pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, between those two things, I mean, anything you do with weapons is pretty crazy. I don't know, man. I've done some stupid shit, you know.
No, I have a couple of my really good friends did a Taipei death match against each other, and I unfortunately wasn't able to go to that one. But I mean, knowing enough about the Taipei death match from like the original ECW, I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, who did it?
My friend, two of my friends here that wrestle like mostly throughout the Midwest, but their names are Bogot and Joey Anderson. He went by Joey Anderson at the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've honestly I've never heard of him, you know, but like I'm glad they did it. I love a Taipei death match.
Yeah, no. All right. Next off, favorite food.
Beer. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I really like steak right now. I used to love fried chicken, but I really like steak right now.
Can't argue with that one. Favorite music.
Oh man, everything really, which is such a cliche answer, but pretty much everything. I listen to it all, rock, rap. You know, I don't listen to jazz, but I mean, right now, man, I don't even really listen to a lot of music. I listen to more podcasts than I do anything else.
You know, depending on the day, I listen to a lot of podcasts myself now. Not so with music, not so much rap for me anymore, because in my opinion, some of the current stuff that gets out there on like the radio and stuff, it's like, you know, back in the day, it seemed like you actually needed talent, and anymore it's like you just put little and something else behind it, and like, ooh, you're a rapper now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, rap has always been, I used to be a huge hip hop head. Like I love West Coast gangster rap, but it's always been like very copycat-ish. And when like a lot of like what people would consider like mumble rap, and a lot of Atlanta rap is being like copied everywhere, all over the country. Like if you look in back in like the early mid 90s, everybody was using like G-funk beats. If you were in like the Midwest, you were making G-funk beats. You weren't really using New York beats, and it's always been a copycat kind of game. But yeah, like, I don't listen to modern rap. There's Kendrick Lamar just put out a record, and that's the first rap album I've been excited about in like 3-4 years.
I gotcha. Last but not least, craziest road story.
Oh man, there's a few. I guess probably for like right now, off just top of my head, one of my craziest ones was going to pick up some money and then getting in a head-on fucking car crash.
Oh.
I was going to pick up some money, and then I was going to drive to Boston 2 weeks ago for No Holds Barred 25. And I got into a head-on wreck, and needless to say, I didn't make the town, which was like just crushing, you know? And that was a crazy one. I guess like riding with Danny DeMano was pretty wild too, because not because I like antics or anything, just him talking, like telling me about, you know, the New Jersey wrestling scene and shit. Like that was like pretty crazy to me just to hear about like all of these things and like hearing like about stories about, you know, different promotions and how to get in the business back then. That was like probably like the craziest. Cause like we're not, you know, me and the people I travel with were really not that crazy. So, you know, being on the road is like, you know, we just go to the town, do our thing, we leave, you know, I mean, you know, I'm not as wild as I was before pro wrestling, you know. Before pro wrestling, I was fucking insane. You know, pro wrestling really straightened me out.
No, I get you. And I mean, that was the thing you brought up about the car wreck. I remember us talking about that. And one thing that, I mean, and we can still plug this to kind of round off the show. It was a Pro Wrestling Tees store, right? You have one of, and when I post the video, and we'll have this also on the podcast platform version, the links to your Pro Wrestling Tees store, so people want to go support you. I know with merch, that's a lot of how you guys make your money. So any little bit that, you know, I can do to help, I'm always happy to do.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm on Pro Wrestling Tees. I have one shirt up now and another one being under review by them to put up, you know, and but yeah, it's prowrestlingtees.com/CJ Lawler 423. I think it is. I don't know. I hope so. But if you just search CJ Lawler into Pro Wrestling Tees, it'll pop up. I have a shirt. It's the Dick Too Big shirt, which is kind of my wrestling nickname on accident. You know?
No, I got you. Anyways, where can people find you, social media and stuff? And, you know, what are some upcoming events you have so people can try to keep an eye out for you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. It's twitter.com/CJ Lawler @CJ Lawler. Facebook is facebook.com/CJ Lawler 423 because that's our area code in Chattanooga 423. For as far as socials, that's it really. I have a match on June 26th against Carson Dilbeck in a baseball glove on a pole match. Ooh. I'm going to win that baseball glove, and I'm going to play catch. I don't have a kid, so I'm gonna find one of my friends to play catch with. And that's how I'm gonna celebrate. I'm climbing 10 feet up in the air. I'm taking that fucking glove. Sorry, Carson, you're gonna die. I'm kidding. He's not gonna die. But yeah, so I'm there. It's a church show, so it's, you know, a family friendly show. And I'm at Juggalo Championship Wrestling's BloodyMania at the Gathering of the Juggalos this year. Oh, and pretty much anything else that comes up, you know. But I'm looking forward to that baseball glove on a pole match, and then, you know, working BloodyMania.
Oh yeah, no, those are. I mean, the BloodyMania always ends up being a spectacle, to say the least.
Yes, it's always something crazy.
And I'm sure that baseball glove on a pole match is going to be something else.
It's going to be something to see. It'll definitely be something to see.
All right. Well, that is about all I have for today. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And
thank you, man. Pleasure's all mine.
Best of luck in those upcoming shows.
Dude, thank you, man. Best of luck to you and your podcast, man. I'm excited to see who else you get on here.
Oh, yeah. No, I got plenty of big things coming up.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right.
Thank you, man.